Hi, today I will be solving the Puzzled Pint puzzles from October 2013. The theme was Sherlock Holmes. There's a location puzzle, 6 regular puzzles, and the meta puzzle. So I'll go through each of these in order. There is obviously a spoiler alert for all of these puzzles as I will be solving them, and there's a link in the description if you want to solve it yourself. Alright, let's get started with the first puzzle. Location puzzle, elementary / where and when. Puzzles. Portland, Oregon. Okay, so this location puzzle had a different version for Portland and Seattle. Okay, got the title, where and when. Location puzzle, October 2013. Looks pretty simple. There's just a list of clues here. So let's take a look at them. Atomic number 94, home of the Panthers, hardness grading for a number 2 pencil, exclamation of pain. Unix command to list files, Orange County Yo, the Hawkeye State, country code for Lesotho, 9 in ancient Rome, David Cameron's title. Okay, so this seems pretty straightforward. Each of these is cluing something, and the clues don't look that obscure. Okay, got the answer here just by concatenating all of the 2-letter solutions together. Punch Bowl Social, 6 p.m., which was the place and time of Puzzled Pint. Okay, ready to start on the main event puzzles. I'm just going to open the meta puzzle and answer sheet real quick just to see if there's anything I need to know in here. Okay, alright, this looks fine. I'll come back to this later. Okay, time for the first main event puzzle, the mystery of the crossword clues. Let's take a look. These crossword clues were jotted in the margin of The Guardian. British crosswords are often called cryptic crosswords in the States. Oh, start the timer. If you've never solved one, ask Game Control for a guide on how they're clued. Alright, looks like we've got 7 solutions and 10 blanks. Other than that, I don't see anything from here that we'll need, so we can just go ahead and work in the sheet with everything written out. Alright, a few easy ones to start with, and it's common with cryptics. The ones that are anagrams are usually pretty easy to start with. Alright, this one's a little challenging, but I think I get it. So this is tracked in station minus ST. So we put tracked into Asian to get attraction. Okay, yep, that makes sense. Great. Alright, so those are all the answers. These all look... One good thing about cryptics is you can be pretty sure of your answer. So let's take another look back at the puzzle. Got 10 blanks. Alright, so somehow we need to get these 7 answers into 10 blanks. Main attraction, listens about down tube route. So the fact that it starts with main attraction makes me think that maybe I could interpret this as a clue itself. Tube route could be, since this is British, it could be subway route. Alright, so this is right. So I was just looking for anything that contains D line and is 10 letters long. And this is perfect because if you insert D line into here's, you get headliners. Excellent. Alright, great. Stop the clock there. Cool, so I like that. I like how the answers became a clue themselves, and I thought that all these clues were pretty fair. I didn't have any trouble with it. It's a bit risky to use cryptics at something like Puzzled Pint because it's such small teams and there's a good chance that nobody on the team has seen cryptics before for some of the teams. I'm looking at the solving guide they gave out, and this is a lot to pick up for somebody who's just seeing it for the first time. Maybe if they could have limited it to just a couple types of wordplay, that would be good. You don't see cryptics at Puzzled Pint much these days, and I wonder how well this went over at the time. Maybe it was too hard for some people, but I enjoyed solving it now. Alright, next up, the mystery of the last call. Okay, this one's quite short. Let's see. This was found scrawled on a napkin at a pub. My dearest Holmes, I know I said I would be here. Since that beastly effer, I just haven't been the same. Please forgive me. Even oo must know I wold never do this on purpose. Let's see. Look for me in the upper balcony. Even as I am now, I still wish to see you. Don't think I'll forget again. Okay, so obviously this is missing a bunch of letters. Alright, so first thing to try, let's just put in the missing letters. Okay, so it looks like just the letters by themselves spell something. Maybe that's the answer. Let's find out. Okay, alright. That one was super easy. Not much to say about that one. It was... Oh, they even had the enumeration here, so it's even easier than I thought. Yeah, sometimes it's fun to have a simple one like that. Cool. Alright, third main event puzzle, Mystery of the Morgue. And start the timer. Okay. This list was slipped under the door of the city morgue. Okay, so it looks like some names and dates, with the implication of these being birth dates and death dates. Cool, alright, let's fill it in. Alright, these are all possible lifetimes. These could refer to real people. Yeah, nobody died on January 18th, 1985, who was 8 years old on those famous deaths. Yeah. Seems like a dead end. 6 clues. Oh, okay. Interesting. So, 6 clues. I wonder if we can extract 2 letters each. Okay, now I have some ideas. Okay, so I've made it so that we can sort by any of these columns. Let's see what happens. Okay, cool. So when you sort by the birth date, the first letters of the name spell first letters of the name spell mortal. That, like I said earlier, we might need to sort them. See what happens when we sort by the death date. Maltro obviously does not spell anything, but since death is the end of their life, let's look at the last letters. Wounds. Great. Alright, I think that's all there is to that one. Let's try. Let's see if that's the answer. Alright, great. Okay, so the Mystery of the Morgue. This trick where you have to sort by one column and read off another column, super common in puzzle hunts, so it's good to see that getting some exposure. This one was a little weird because it had some superfluous information. The month and day of the birth and death never came into account. You could just sort by the year. And that's usually not done, and I wonder if this was designed to throw people off with the superfluous information. Maybe, like I did, you thought this might refer to real people, so you go do some research. Who knows? Okay, next step. The mystery of the set list. This set list was taped to the stage of the Royal Albert Hall. Cats in the outfield, come at Eileen, drop that funky music, eat like an Egyptian. Alright, looks like we've got 14 blanks and 14 clues. So, as far as I can tell, these are all real songs that have had one word changed. So the obvious thing to do is write down what the word was changed from and what it was changed to. Alright, so we've got all these songs. We could add more information, like who wrote the song, who wrote the original song, what year it was published. Let's just start with this for now, see where that takes us. I notice that all of the songs here are in alphabetical order, which means we might need to sort them. None of these are in alphabetical order, and the first letters don't spell anything. Okay, alright, so I think I see this. When you sort based on the original word, then the first letters of the new word spell out something. I definitely could have just read this off, but I like doing it this way. Makes it more dramatic. Alright, there we go. Loudest roadies, I assume that's the answer. Let's find out. Great. Yeah, so with this one, I like that there was a mix of trivia and the more puzzly aspect of it, of sorting the results. Trivia could have been a little harder, but that's okay. The fact that the songs are out of order could have easily been included in the flavor text, and that, I think, could have been helpful. But that's pretty minor, especially since we already saw sorting in the Morgue puzzle. Okay, next up, the mystery of the naval graffiti. Oh, wow. These men were spray-painted along the side of a warship. If you encounter difficulty deducing the meaning of these symbols, you can ask Game Control for a reference sheet. So, this, I assume, is the famous Dancing Man cipher from Sherlock Holmes. Let's see. Dancing Man code. I like the sound of that. Okay, so I've got the puzzle on the upper right here. My answer is going to go here in the upper left, and here in the lower left I have a lookup of the Dancing Man code, as it's called. So let's just start translating using this cipher sheet. The first one looks like T. The next one is, boy, alright, this is going to be tricky. A lot of these look very similar, but it looks like W. Okay, done. That was brutal. I don't know if there's an easier way to do this, but these look so similar to each other, and especially since most of this message is not spelling English words, it makes it very hard to guess what the next letter is. But I think I got it. So, as I'm solving it, I notice it says twice flagged men hold Vignere's key to start with. And as I was going along, I'll zoom in here. Hopefully this should be able to see this. Some of the dancing men have a flag in their hand, and some of them have two flags. And whenever it had two flags, I didn't check every time, but it seemed like everyone that had two flags was not an actual dancing man in the code here. So I assume, another common thing in puzzles, that when there's two flags being held, that this is a semaphore. So now what I'm going to do is go back through and decode the man holding two flags as semaphore. Okay, so the men with two flags in semaphore spells out Baker Elementary, which is good, but we are not done yet. All right, so the ones that are dancing men spell out twice flagged men hold Viniere's key, UHOAF, and then the rest is all not English. So the way the Vigneri cipher works is you have a key, in this case, Baker Elementary, and you use each letter in the key to decode the corresponding letter in the ciphertext. So the first letter is U in the ciphertext. We'll use B to decode that. If the next letter is F, letter that is H, we'll use A to decode that. So I'm going to join them up one by one next to each other now. Okay, so I have the ciphertext extracted from the dancing man, the Vigneri key extracted from the semaphore, and I think I have a formula here that should decipher it correctly. The B would become a V, or wait, no, hang on. B becomes A. Let me start over. Okay, so the way the Vigneri decryption works is you have the key. In our case, the key was Baker Elementary. And you line up the letters, and you take the ciphertext letter and the key letter and combine them to get a plain text letter. So let's see, in this case, N is the corresponding key text letter, and that means that N becomes A when you decrypt it. So if N is A, then O is B, and P is C. Right, so N-O-P becomes A-B-C. So since the ciphertext letter is P, that means it gets converted to C. So I think I have a formula here that does this correctly. So in this case, the key text letter is B, and the ciphertext letter is U, and we want the plain text letter over here. So B becomes A, which means you go backwards one letter in the alphabet, which means U becomes T. Okay, that makes sense. So what I do here is I use this formula to convert these into the numbers 0 through 25. I subtract it so that it works out, and then the result should be over here. All right, so if I did this right, hopefully this should fill in. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, so let me just concatenate these together. Okay. The words myopic and profiteer form answer. The words myopic and profiteer form answer. Okay, so it's possible that the answer is just myopic and profiteer. Let me try that out. Nope. Okay, that's not it. Oh, okay, all right. So I just meant to, I should have gone back to the sheet here to begin with. So myopic fits here, and profiteer fits here. Yep. All right, so the answer is just myopic profiteer. I don't know why the and is in there, but let's see. Whew. Okay, great. We are done. Okay, so this puzzle had a lot of really fine decryption. Getting all these letters right was kind of brutal, and it seemed kind of unnecessarily long. This could easily have been much shorter. There's no reason to decrypt to the words myopic and profiteer form answer. It could just be myopic profiteer. And also the Vigneri key could be as short as you like. It didn't need to be Baker Elementary. It could just easily have been Baker. So I'm not sure why they went with that, especially since the dancing man cipher is really hard to work with. The letters don't really form any pattern, and they're very similar to each other, especially when you're decrypting to something that is not forming English words. It's really hard to tell if you make a mistake. Vigneri cipher decryption is also hard to work with. If I didn't have a spreadsheet, I would have had to do this all by hand, which is what people at Puzzled Pint would have had to do. And this is very easy to make a mistake on. Having said that, this was my favorite puzzle so far. I thought it was a really creative take to put these two together, the dancing man cipher and the semaphore. It's neat that they were able to integrate them so well together. And I also liked that it is thematic in that the Dancing Man cipher comes from Sherlock Holmes, which is the theme of this Puzzled Pint. So, yeah, my favorite puzzle so far. It was a bit long. Okay, time for our sixth and final main puzzle, the Mystery of the Odd Man Out. Ooh, colorful. Okay. Mystery of the Odd Man Out. These images were in an anonymous email sent to Sherlock. And it looks like we have several sets of 4 images. So let's see. Yeah, nothing obvious. Nothing obvious to get started. Let me just make sure I'm not blocking anything besides another set of images. Okay. And we have some blanks on the bottom. It's a little hard to read, but it looks like 8 blanks and then 5. Okay, that was not too bad. I don't know all my country flags, and certainly not my sports logos. But it looks pretty straightforward at this point that you can pick out one thing from each list, from each set of 4 that is different. So in the first case, the moon is the only one that's not a planet. Brazil is the only one that's not a island. I'm going to have to come back to the sports one. Orange, and so on. Okay, so it seems pretty obvious that you're supposed to take the first letter of each of these. But something doesn't quite add up here. Let me just fill in what I have. So the fact that it ends with party is good, and this looks pretty close to minority party. That would mean that Iceland would have to be the odd one out. In this case, I'm not sure why that would be. And Italy would have to be the odd one out here. I can see, so with Canada, the UK, and the USA, they have English as one of their main languages. Canada also has French, and Italy does not, so that could be a difference. So I'll go ahead and put that. But I don't see a good reason why Iceland would be the odd one out between Australia, Brazil, Iceland, and Jamaica. Oh, shoot. I had this wrong. What is that flag? Oh, South Africa. Boy, I was way off in this one. Okay, so I had this wrong. It's the flag of South Africa. So why would Iceland be the odd one out here? Oh, because it's the Northern Hemisphere. Yeah, okay, great. Let's try it out. Alright, so I thought this one was straightforward and fair. Some of these were a little more interesting than others. I like the ones about the countries and ones in the Northern Hemisphere. That was interesting. And the one with the cards, there's just 3 of them are face cards and one of them was not a face card. So some of them could have been a little better, but the good ones are pretty good. I feel a little embarrassed that I missed the planet Venus and the flag of South Africa. To be fair to me, this is not a photograph of Venus. This is a radar image of the surface of Venus. And normally, if you saw it, you'd see the clouds. This looks a little more like how Mercury looks to the naked eye. At any rate, I really should have gotten the flag of South Africa, though. But I do like that this has a visual component compared with the others. I thought that was a nice difference. Okay, on to the final meta puzzle, the Mystery of Mysteries. Okay, so this was also the answer sheet. We would have put all the answers in here. 6 mysteries that led to no crimes. They must have been planted by people Sherlock knew, but who? Each had signed their work hiding their own name in the answer of the mystery, but one person must have been the mastermind. Which name appears in none of the answers? Okay, let's just go down the list. Irene Adler appears in Headliners. Mycroft Holmes. Yes, appears in Myopic Profiteer. Mrs. Hudson. I do not see Mrs. Hudson. D.I. Lestrade. Loudest Roadies, yes. Colonel Moran. Mortal Wounds. Professor Moriarty. Minority Party. And Dr. John Watson, what's your poison? So it looks like the answer, the mastermind, the one who does not appear in any answer, would be Mrs. Hudson. All right, great. So that's it. All right, so to wrap up, my total solve time was 1 hour 56 minutes. I thought that overall this set of puzzles was fun. It was good, as always, with Puzzled Pint. It was pretty straightforward. There were not any big aha moments that I can remember, but you don't want to make it too obscure for something like Puzzled Pint because, of course, you want it to be accessible. The meta puzzle I particularly thought was kind of fun and thematic. I did not solve it this way, but I can see people who had been solving it, eliminating suspects one at a time as they went along. That could have been pretty fun. I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan, so I was hoping for a bit of thematic involvement. There was some of that with the meta puzzle and the dancing men. I would have liked a little more, and I guess I would have liked some deduction since it's Sherlock Holmes after all. There wasn't really any logic puzzles involved. But that's okay. As always, the makers of Puzzled Pint have a very difficult challenge, which is making puzzles that can be solved by people with literally no puzzle experience. And I think they did a pretty good job here, and I think they've also gotten better about it over the years. So, all in all, good job to the Puzzled Pint people as always. Alright, thank you for joining me. If you have any suggestions, let me know for future videos, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.